Every day, millions of people rely on Google Maps to get from one place to another. It tells us which turn to take, where the nearest gas station is, or even where a tiny street in a small town might be. But what if one day you opened your map app and noticed something was missing, not a road or a landmark, but an entire country? This isn't fiction. It's happening, and not just in one isolated case. Some countries and regions have either been misrepresented, blurred out, or entirely unlabeled on the most used mapping tool in the world. What does it mean when a digital platform with more power than most governments decides what stays and what disappears? Let's start with something seemingly small but symbolically massive: San Marino. Tucked away within the borders of Italy, San Marino is the world's fifth smallest country and one of its oldest republics. It has its own government, currency, and even a national football team. But despite its sovereignty, users have reported that when they visit San Marino, their location history doesn't show they were ever there. Photos get tagged as Italy, routes show them crossing into nothing, and the country often gets absorbed under its far larger neighbor. While this may seem like a minor digital oversight, for a nation whose identity is deeply tied to its history and autonomy, being digitally erased is no small deal. In a world where visibility equals legitimacy, this kind of erasure blurs not just borders but identities. The case of Palestine is even more politically charged. On Google Maps, the territories of the West Bank and Gaza are visible, but you won't see the word Palestine labeling them. For supporters of Palestinian statehood, this absence feels like a denial of existence. It's not just a name missing from a map, it's a name missing from recognition. Critics have accused Google of taking a political stance by not including Palestine, while others argue it's simply a matter of adhering to international standards. Google, for its part, has maintained that Palestine has never been labeled and that it doesn't take sides in geopolitical disputes. But in practice, the absence of a label speaks volumes. For the millions who identify as Palestinian, seeing their home unrecognized by the digital world is a daily reminder of a broader struggle. And for users around the globe, it raises an uncomfortable question: who decides what belongs on a map? But it's not just about erasure. Sometimes it's about fabrication. Enter the strange case of Sandy Island. Located in the Coral Sea, near New Caledonia, Sandy Island appeared on numerous digital maps for decades, including Google Maps. But in 2012, a group of Australian scientists sailed to the coordinates expecting to find land. What they found instead was open ocean. No island. No sand. Nothing but water. Google eventually removed the island, but the incident highlighted a major issue. Once a mistake enters the digital mapping system, it can persist for years, even decades, without question. And if something can be added so easily, it can be removed just as easily too. Now, let's zoom in on a different type of vanishing intentional obscurity. South Korea, a technologically advanced nation, has one of the most restricted mapping policies in the developed world. Due to security concerns stemming from its volatile relationship with North Korea, South Korea restricts detailed geographic data from being exported. As a result, Google Maps is largely ineffective there. You can't get proper turn-by-turn navigation in major cities like Seoul. Important buildings appear blurred or distorted. For locals and tourists alike, it's frustrating, but for the government, it's a necessary precaution. Yet, this presents a fascinating paradox. In the name of protecting national security, South Korea has made itself nearly invisible on one of the world's most used digital platforms. Then there's the case of disputed territories and renamed places. In 2025, a political firestorm erupted when the United States suggested that the Gulf of Mexico be renamed the Gulf of America on American versions of Google Maps. Almost immediately, the map updated for you. Base-based users. The response from Mexico was swift and fiery. labeling the change as digital imperialism and accusing America of attempting to overwrite history. In reality, the Gulf of Mexico is not just a name, it's a legacy. Changing it on a digital platform may seem symbolic, but in geopolitics, symbolism is everything. When a corporation like Google chooses to display different names based on the user's location, it's not just adapting to local language, it's rewriting geography based on politics. And sometimes, entire towns or regions are simply gone. In China, for example, numerous areas appear pixelated or entirely absent. Military zones, government buildings, and sometimes entire towns are blurred beyond recognition. Similar restrictions can be seen in parts of India, Russia, and other nations with tight control over geographic data. These aren't accidents. They are government-imposed limitations that tech companies are forced to comply with. But again, the result is the same and incomplete and often misleading digital picture of the world. What makes all of this even more disturbing is how passively we accept it. Most of us trust that what we see on our phone maps is the truth. We rarely question it. We rarely ask whether a missing label or a changed border has meaning. But as we've seen, it absolutely does. In an age where borders are being contested, identities are being debated, and political tensions are rising, digital maps have become one of the most powerful and dangerous tools in shaping how we understand our planet. It also raises ethical concerns. Who holds Google accountable? There's no global mapping oversight committee. There's no international court for cartographic disputes in the digital space. Tech companies often cite data sources and say they're following government guidelines or UN standards, but in reality, they make editorial decisions every day, sometimes based on politics, sometimes based on business interests. What's more alarming is that many small nations, indigenous lands, and disputed territories don't have the resources or influence to challenge these decisions. If a name disappears from Google Maps, it can disappear from the consciousness of millions overnight. This digital cartography isn't just changing how we travel, it's changing how we think. And that shift is subtle but powerful. Children growing up today will form their understanding of the world, not from paper atlases, but from apps. Their worldview is being shaped by algorithms, not atlases. They will learn that some places don't exist simply because they can't be found on Google. That kind of erasure, intentional or not, carries massive cultural and political consequences. So what do we do about it? The first step is awareness. Start questioning what you see on digital maps. Explore multiple sources. Use OpenStreetMap, Bing Maps, or even historical archives to get a fuller picture. Second, support platforms that promote transparency and community editing. And third, recognize the power of labeling and the responsibility that comes with it. A name on a map isn't just a label. It's a declaration that something matters. In the end, when a country vanishes from a map, it doesn't mean it no longer exists. It means we've stopped seeing it. And in the digital age, being seen is everything. Because if a map can forget your country, your people, or your identity, how long until the world forgets too? If you found this video thought-provoking, hit that like button and subscribe for more. And let us know in the comments, have you ever noticed something missing on your map? What do you think the future of digital geography looks like? Because remember, maps don't just tell us where we are. They tell us who we are. And that's something worth paying attention to.